Welcome to AdaptNow, the ABB podcast series on adaptive execution. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Overley with another edition of AdaptNow, the ABB Adaptive Execution podcast series. Today we have Sri again, following up on a topic that really requires its own podcast. It's a very important component of ABB adaptive execution, and that is the capabilities value driver and what that means. So first off, when we say capabilities, Sri, hello. First off, hi, how are you doing today?
Yeah, hi Dan. Good morning. Yeah, doing good. How are you?
I'm great. It's exciting days and adaptive capabilities. You've talked a lot about in the past. Capabilities refers to people, essentially, mostly the human factor. And, that's a question you get, when you talk about the autonomous plant and the future. Everything seems to be moving to automated, but will people still play a key role in adaptive?
Yeah, I think this is, a very important topic, as you said in the beginning. And as we discussed in our last podcast, people play a key role in adaptive execution. As we bring together the new technologies, standardized and simplified methodologies, revamped or updated infrastructure. It's very key that the fourth or the key element in having an execution framework is the people themselves. And in fact, if we look at our ABB IA Energy division, the purpose of our energy division, it revolves around the identity of touching lives, thriving together, and driving innovation, with a focus on our customers, people, and results. So our customers are looking for more process and domain knowledge expertise who can help them to do an adaptive design and build control systems that will suit their requirements and meet their business demands. Hence, just having the technology, methodology, and infrastructure enables, we will not be able to deliver the needed customer experience. It's ultimately the people's expertise and competency of knowing not only the why, what, and how, but I also would say, also the when to apply these enablers from the technology or the methodology piece is important, and which I believe is the people, right? So you need someone with that knowledge, with that expertise, who have gone through that similar experience, have that ability to make the right decision at the right time, would be still the people part. And that needs people to have enough time in their job so that they could manage the challenges and risks, at the right appropriate time. So I do believe, people do continue to play a key important role in spite of us simplifying and automating the repeated mundane tasks. Yep.
Yeah, it seems to me when you think about the methodology, which is a core component of adaptive, that it is all about people as well. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we talk about project execution and the related methodologies, we all know we are now wanting to standardize, automate, simplify the repeated tasks, and this is for us to achieve some efficiency gains that will benefit a project. However, we believe a critical element for successful large project delivery are the soft issues of a project delivery, such as leadership, organization culture, mindset, attitudes and behavior of the project owners, the leaders, and the team. And we would like to address this under this project execution capabilities aspect, or the fourth pillar of the adaptive framework. A project will have an original scope, right? And uncertain and changing requirements. And therefore it needs an adaptive methods, as we spoke last time. The traditional project management strategies require the teams to just follow a set of standard procedures, no matter what the scope or the requirement change happens. Now that puts a lot of pressure on delivering the project on time, on budget, on schedule. Now that's exact reason for which we came up with this adaptive approach, as this is not a static, and it constantly adjusts itself to the different project variables. And because each project is different, an adaptive project execution framework comes up with a set of enablers from the technology, methodology, infrastructure, with the capability of the people, which helps us to put it as a delivery model which is a fit for a purpose, or I like to call this as build to adapt model. And hence having the right people with the right skill set at the right time helps us to build the required agility in our delivery model. And that's adaptive with people.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the soft element. I mean, it's not a hard measurement of people's skills, but there are skills that are needed, and that can be measured. What are some of those skills?
Yeah. So one thing, as I see with even my personal experience and what we have been going through the industrial revolution within the IA domain, we see that we are moving towards an era where we need resources with a multi-skill oriented ability, where I would mean that engineers now would not only know how to use and implement a particular product or a solution, but it's also required for the resources or engineers to know to what application am I building the solution to. And hence this brings a need for the engineers to know and understand the process, the application, what the customer is trying to build or solve. And it's very important that the resources build that ability of just not knowing our products or technologies, but also trying to understand the process and applications where our solutions would be applied. So it's more of our execution capability, also to adapt to the change in technology, work processes, design requirements, and the engineers or the resources would need time for learning and implementing as they go through this execution of a project. Hence, it's key for all our resources involved in today's project. Be aware of project constraints, the challenges, and work through deliverables in an agile manner. So I would say, self-organizing teams are most likely to develop the best architecture and the designs to meet the requirements. So this ability to cut through unnecessary work, excuse me, and focus on essential work is going to be the key skill. And all this, kind of brings us to the point that how adaptive and agile are we having our expert team to be able to deliver projects which would help our customers to see the value.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here thinking about this approach, but it's almost innate. The approach you take towards the skills that are needed. The management of those skills can be challenging, but it also yields the benefits of adaptive if you do it right.
Yeah.
So is there a skills management program in terms of, is that part of the software, the project management software. We talked about integrated project management. Is skills management a part of that?
Yep. So at at ABB, we do have, as you know, we have resources and people around the globe with a lot of expertise on specific domains, specific industries, specific segments, applications. So there's a large pool of competency and resource lying in regions and different countries where we are, kind of well connected in today's world with, the technology what we have. So at ABB, what we have come up with to have a global skill management system by which we have each and every resource skill mapped, whether it's from a technical standpoint, whether it's from a project management standpoint, whether it's from any standards and a certification standpoint, and all these skill map kind of helps us during the mobilization and resource planning stage. And also we kind of maximize and use our high value engineering centers, which we have been promoting and using as our focus area where we could build some of those competencies. So the overall skill management system comes with the concept of having the center of excellence, where we have people who have been delivering projects within that particular industry or within that particular segment, having process knowledge and able to relate and solve customers' problems, challenges. And also we have competent resources who are good in the design, build, and implement aspect of the projects. So we kind of, bring in the best of the resource we need in any global project delivery. And with the cloud engineering environment, which we have created within ABB, we are able to collaborate and tap onto the right skill, the right resource at the right time for the needs of the project. So there's a holistic view of how the skills are being managed, both from a human resource standpoint, from a project and a line management standpoint, and then from a competency standpoint.
Well, you mentioned you mentioned what I was thinking about next was the cloud, and where will people be located during modern project execution?
Yeah, that's a good. So and we are as we have gone through this situation in the last close to now year or 10 months with the COVID situation. And post-COVID, we do see that there's going to be a lot of people working from remote, half of them working from homes or even remote offices. So it's going to be a challenge, which we think we could easily solve with today's technology. And we are collaborating with some of the cloud partners to setting up huge data centers and regional cloud environments where people today are being able to host our control system applications and other office applications to be accessed over a cloud environment where today a huge engineering team of a typical project, let's say 50 to 60 resources, are collaborating across Bangalore, Norway, and other regional centers where they all could come in and share the same data and information residing in the cloud and being able to work and execute the tasks without having any delay of passing information across from one point to the other. So I think with the ability of the cloud technology, we would be able to leverage and bring in the required expertise, the consultation of the center of excellence at the right time, because now we are kind of well connected across the globe, across ABB regional offices. And it's not only connection within ABB what we are looking, we need to also connect up to our partners, our EPCs and customers, which we want to create that environment where we could bring in our partners, our consultants, or even our customers to come into the same environment to review and collaborate with our team. So it makes it very effective to have the team looking at, as I said, the right issues at the right time, so that we have no delay in the project today because of this enablement of using the cloud engineering environment.
Well, it makes me think about if the pandemic would have been 20 years ago, all projects would have come to a halt, or even 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
True. Yeah. Yeah. True.
It's good that we've adapted, got ahead of the game.
Yep.
And that also is good for employees in the future that traveled too much. And I think now they're, the ability to work cloud also is a side benefit. So what about local resources in the new adaptive project world? Will they still?
Yes, that is a very, very important, focus in the sense when we start working with this adaptive model, what happens is, as I said, one advantage with the technology, with the people located around the globe, we would want to leverage the right resource at the right time, at the right location. Now, at the same time, what happens is a project happens in a particular region, in a particular country, in a particular facility or a site, where we also need to have a focus of local resources who would be the face of our customer and interacting and managing the overall scope and the delivery aspect, and making sure that the solutions which are coming around the world being integrated well and being served at the right time. Because at the end of the day, the design, engineering, implementation, and testing could all happen in the cloud, but the final piece has to go to the site and get bolted on to the equipment and connected up and wired up, so that we are able to create that entire control system platform for the customers to start up and start operating the facility. Now that still needs expertise, that still needs resources who have that ability to manage the interfaces, to manage the project management aspect. So we do still see that the focus would be having still a highly skilled project management, interface management, and technical solution management with our local resource and with our service capability for us to support the customer on life cycle would be still with the local resources. And so it's a teamwork when it comes to the delivery of the project, but at the tail end of the project to start up and commission and then hand it off to the service organization, we still need a major part of the resource to come from the local content, and hence it's very important. And ABB has been very strategic in making sure that we build that competency and be also available very in a close proximity to our customers and facilities.
That's good to know. I mean, ABB's always had a policy of local resources being involved in a project because they're there to service and support. So it's good to know that's still alive and well. What about certification and training? Is there a certification program for engineers on adaptive?
We are thinking on that angle from a overall certification aspect, but there are some elements of adaptive enablers for which we are coming out with training content and certification programs where we want to build certain competencies on certain enablers. Now, for example, we talked about I think Mohammed Mishraf in standardizing of engineering methodologies, he talked about the value of eBase and how eBase is going to be our one of our central piece of database automation, database management, and help us to automate and generate documents very effectively and efficiently in projects today. And now eBase is a software tool using it right, you need to train people and help them to understand the architecture and the data layers of the eBase. And hence it's very critical that we are running certain programs for training our resources to build those competencies so that we will be able to leverage those tools and technologies to the desired efficiency. So we are more now focused on making sure that the enabler training programs are being put in place. And from a project management aspect, we are trying to also address certain agile project principles being imparted as part of our training curriculum. So ABB has its own training programs, both from a technical product standpoint and from project management standpoint, where on the project management, we are looking at completely coming up with a certification program where the project managers will be given an exposure to the adaptive project elements and the adaptive project execution methodologies, which will lead to a certified program.
Well, that's excellent. Well, it really sounds like an exciting time to be an engineer or in projects at ABB. And I really appreciate your time today, Sri. I think you covered the topic well, and I certainly have a good feel for why it's important.
Sure.
Thanks again, and we'll talk to the audience another day on AdaptNow. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Take care. Bye-bye.